The candidates will be on stage tomorrow night talking about the issues of the day. And in 41 days, folks in Iowa will get their say as well. But as the campaign calendar heats up, so will former President Donald Trump's legal troubles. Chris Stirewalt here to break down what all of that could potentially mean for the former president. Chris?
You were probably a lot cooler in college than I was. So when you went across the quad at Michigan, it was probably a big deal. So this feels nice. I'm very glad to be here. But I kind of wish that I was at home. Because if I was at home, I might have gotten a letter in the mail from the D.C. courts inviting me to be on a jury that is going to try former President Donald Trump on charges that he interfered with the peaceful transfer of power in 2021. Indeed, this is NBC reporting that they have a letter that a prospective juror received in D.C. saying, hey, it all lines up, and it all lines up around one date, and that date is March 4th. And we know that that's happening because the judge in Trump's criminal trial has rejected claims of immunity, that Trump doesn't have to do this. Basically, they're on track to go to trial when they get to the beginning of March. Now, how this goes, and it's going to last 3 months, April, May, June, you're into the summer, it's almost the conventions and all that stuff. I got it. But come with me very briefly into the calendar, because this is the weird stuff that I care about. And since they're giving me this segment, you're going to be forced to care about it very briefly, too. So here's where the big red calendar date falls. You see in the run of things there. So in January, you will have had Iowa and you will have had New Hampshire. Now you get into February. And you see there South Carolina, which will send them off into these crucial moments. Super Tuesday, which includes the voters here in Alabama on March 5th. If that trial begins on March 4th, what will everybody in America be talking about? Everybody, every man, woman, child, some of the dogs, cockatoos, everybody. What are they going to talk about? The start of Donald Trump's criminal trial. How's that going to do for Donald Trump in Alabama and on Super Tuesday? It's going to do great. It's going to do really, really, really well for Donald Trump, probably, because look at the most recent NewsNation poll done for us by our brothers and sisters at Decision Desk HQ. Would a Donald Trump criminal conviction impact your vote? Should have said effect, but I love you anyway. No, 72%. Now, some of those, as we've talked about before, are people who already aren't going to vote for Donald Trump. So if you already aren't going to vote for Donald Trump, what do you care if he's convicted? But a lot of these people are saying, ride or die, I don't care. I am alleging no conspiracy. Do not charge me, Jack Smith. I'm alleging no conspiracy. But I will say this. The timing could not be better for Donald Trump to lock up the Republican nomination than to dominate the news, fighting like John Dillinger against the Biden Justice Department on the very eve of the Super Tuesday vote, including Alabama. So there you have it. I broke it down.
Stirewalt breaks it down. So Chris says could not be better timing. Agree?
Yeah, but don't you think that that's fascinating? I mean, if you told me 10 years ago when or 30 years ago when I started doing campaigns, your candidate is going to be indicted the day before a vote, I'd be like, we need to do something. Chris is right. This is actually a huge help to him. Every time something happens in the legal sphere for Trump, his poll numbers go up, his base gets hard. It's amazing to think that the dynamic has flipped itself such that getting indicted and starting a trial is good political news.
He's up 50 in the NewsNation Decision Desk HQ poll. It was what, like
I feel like
25?
another candidate's going to run out and try to commit a crime.
Don't give them any ideas, Sean.
Polls don't vote. But no, we may sit up here and say that this is good, but it's not good for America. And there are so many trial dates that they're going to be peppered throughout this entire election cycle. And it is just going to further divide us. Nikki Haley is right when she says that chaos follows Donald Trump. Do you want that choice as an American?
It very well may be good for Democrats, right? So the danger for Republicans.
It's bad for America.
Oh, well, okay. Well, but my point here is that for your party, there are considerable upsides. That if the idea is that Republicans in a fit of frenzy slam the door on Nikki Haley or whomever else and say, okay, we're back on Trump, and here we go, and it's done on that day. And then the next several months are dominated by stories that are knocking Trump with persuadable voters and moderate voters, maybe Democrats will be helped.
At the same time, though, and to Sean's point, every time you see these events with Trump, whether it's a court date, a mugshot, or whatever, that puts him in the spotlight, and it's free media attention. I mean, he doesn't have to really do much, whereas you have all the other Republican primary candidates trying to fight for that attention. Trump doesn't have to do that. Now, in a general election, I don't know how that dynamic plays out, but it's certainly convenient for him.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.